Like, China is the reverse of why nations fail, so it doesn't make sense. Holy, that is so crazy. Hasan, after the Nobel Prize, can you interview Professor Daron Acemoglu? Why? He is, I mean, as a Turk, I'm happy that a Turk got a fucking Nobel Peace Prize, but I read his book like a very long time ago, and a lot of what he talks about is basically just a lot of what he talks about is you know, some fucking neoliberal bullshit. Okay. That's all I'm gonna say. And China, back when he wrote his book, I guess, like, at that point he could have made an argument about like China being too authoritarian and whatnot, but like China breaks his entire book. Like, the Chinese existence and the current Chinese economy, what do you mean Turk? He's Armenian. He's Turkish Armenian, isn't he? His last name is Acemoglu. I'm pretty sure he's like, chat, I don't know if you know this, but there are Turkish Armenians out there. Yeah, that is a thing that happens. Yeah, I think he's Turkish Armenian. Yeah, he was born in Istanbul. He has a Turkish citizenship and an American citizenship. His education is University of York and London School of Economics. My dad loves him for obvious reasons. But yeah, why nations fail here. I mean, his entire fucking concept, his entire body of work literally revolves around how like authoritarian forms of governance is the real reason why nations fail, and it's not because of it is anti-materialist. That's what it is. Like, his entire body of work is basically trying to create an alternative reality that is the opposite of materialist thought. It is a way to try to describe why certain nations under capitalism prosper and certain nations under capitalism fail from the exact opposite point of view of the way I see the world. But, you know, it's fine. It's just funny because like I've mentioned, this right here, like these two books, Economic Origins of Dictatorship and Democracy and Why Nations Fail, but especially Why Nations Fail, China bricks this entire concept. Like, China is the reverse of why nations fail, so it doesn't make sense. Yeah, Why Nations Fail is solid, but it leans too much on institutions as the end-all be-all for development. He downplays the role of capitalism in perpetuating inequality. Yeah, his described as a centrist, he believes in a regulated market economy. He regularly comments on political issues, economic inequality, and a variety of specific policies. He would say, exception that proves the rule, dumbass. Yeah, I also agree on how you diss Mersheimer and Fukuyama. I want your honest take. Which of the two realist authors you would roast the most? What do you mean? Mersheimer, I would consider to be far more important than Fukuyama, especially considering that Fukuyama's thought is completely bricked in this day and age. Virtually every single daily HasanAbi broadcast occurrence is like yet another indication that like his attitude was completely broken. Whereas Mersheimer I think is definitely far more prescient. Have you read Chris Hayes' book Twilight of the Elites, America After Meritocracy? I haven't. I wonder if that's the book. Yo, Chris Hayes, by the way, not only is he a firm HasanAbi head, this man was in my DMs on my Instagram for like months, and I had no fucking clue. I was just like recently checking my DMs on Instagram. I'm like, Chris, we are mutuals on Twitter. Like, why don't you DM me on there? Because he was like, oh, we got a ball next time I'm in LA. I was like, dude, why don't you hit me up on Twitter? He's like, oh, I just don't use Twitter that much. But yeah, he's trying to ball next time he's here. He's trying to also lift weights. So we'll see. That'd be pretty sick if I was balling with Chris Hayes. Like, we did an IRL ball stream. Do you think materialism view works better? Doesn't it make everything cold and soulless like our jobs? What do you mean cold and soulless? You're like looking for a spiritual assessment of like just a specific way of analyzing world events and history. What? Materialism is just reality. There's no it is what it is. You know, there is no. Your Twitch title says IOF instead of IDF. No way. That's crazy. Mersheimer's political worldview is basically lib the fuck up, but his analysis of events is spot on. He recognized the genocide in Palestine when he sees one. He also recognized the apartheid regime of Israel. He's literally outcast of U.S. foreign policy establishment because of his views. I personally like Sachs more. I mean, I could ask Daron Acemoglu on the broadcast and have him explain to me his worldview. That could be interesting. He cooked my ass. He's significantly more knowledgeable than myself. I just think I have disagreements with him because if you do not have a materialist underpinning of your analysis of global events, you are going to have a, in my opinion, gaping hole, a blind spot in terms of a blind spot that leads you down an idealistic notion that ultimately revolves around good bad dynamics, ultimately revolves around like good nations and bad nations. It just it will cause you to it will cause you never to reckon with unequal exchange in terms of global trade, and like it basically turns the entire concept on its head. You either understand that countries engage in imperialist endeavors because they can, because of a way that to consistently seek out a further and further profit from the developing world, keep them underdeveloped deliberately, whether by chattel slavery, colonial occupation, or imperialism, neo-imperialism, the debt trap and whatnot. Or you just simply think, you know, some nations have stronger institutions and that's why they thrive, and other nations have weaker institutions. Even biblical scholarship uses materialism these days, called critical theory. I'm a theology student, and it's the only thought that's really taken seriously these days. Alexa said yesterday that Alex is hotter than you. You agree? Yes, I agree. Typical. Klasik. Tabii. While you were on books, what was the book about how Obama betrayed his base and sold him out to the DNC or whatever? Been looking for it. It's We Got People, Ryan Grimm. I think it was called We Got People, right? It's his first book, not this last one. God damn, dude. Holy shit.